Hello everyone, welcome back to a weekly review, and I'll also be going over the broader month. But this month has been a really good month. March, I could have done a lot better though. I missed a winning trade at the beginning of the month, and then I messed up on a winning trade. Then I missed another winning trade at the end of the month. Or I guess that was actually April 2nd. This one right here, which I'll talk about because it's gotten me to this point where I'm a little conflicted on what I should keep doing. And I really want to go back and look at if I actually did it well. So I'm going to pull up the trades I actually took up until week 14. Those are all the trades in March. And then these are all the trades right here that I could have taken. Now some of these trades, like this week from the 16th to the 20th, there were 2 losses. I didn't take anything. I avoided those 2 losses. And then there's a few trades. So on the week before that, which would be the 11th, I took 4 trades. And it looks like, yeah, I took all 4 of these trades. That was like the best week I performed. The week before that, I took the loss on the 4th. Only one of the losses. I didn't take 2. And then there was this win, which I lost. I don't think I was. I don't remember what I was doing, but I don't think I was trading. Oh yes, I remember this. I seen it. I had written it in my Discord. This is why you keep a journal, so you can go back. But really, looking back on the month, I could have done amazing this month. I could have gone out of drawdown from what I lost last week. But yeah, this was the trade. I was really unmotivated that day. At 9:20, I was still in bed, and I went to sleep at 3:30 a.m. last night because I had gone back home late from work, and I just wanted to unwind. My girl was up too at that time, different time zones. Anyways, I decided it wasn't going to be professional for me to participate in the trade, so I just didn't take it. But it was the model 2025 model, and yeah. Anyways, that could have been a 5.15 R that I missed out on. I just kind of want to see. So 5.15 times $300 of risk. We're going to take that loss, so plus 400. That's like an extra 2K I'd be up by this month, which is pretty amazing. In total, I ended the month $1,800 USD profit on the statement. So that extra 2K would have been. That's just from one trade. I mean, yeah, and I had made another mistake. If we keep going now to the week 23rd to the 27th, that was on the 25th. This trade should have been a win, but I lost. And we'll go over here on this link. You see how I fucked up there. I have my tweets from that day, which I'll just go through real quick. Or no, I don't have my tweets. Oh no, I wasn't tweeting. Yeah. Basically, I was in a video call, and I had to rush to get into the trade. I didn't expect it to form so early in the morning at 9:30. I was waiting ready for it, but I wasn't signed into my account, and when I realized I wasn't signed in, I had rushed to get in. And then I got in with too many micros, so when it came up here, I actually pressed the buy button, that's why you see 2 buy arrows, but I quickly closed it, and then I re-entered, so you see a second short arrow, and then I closed it up here when it exceeded my risk that I was comfortable with. Now, I should have held this trade for a lot more, and any other day, if the trade looked better, the sweep, so let me actually go to the 25th. Like the 5-minute sweep didn't look the best. There was an up close candle in the middle of those down close candles, but I could, I was using a bias to add more confidence. It was rejecting a new week opening gap. And it really looked like it had potential to go lower. So even though the sweep wasn't perfect, I didn't disqualify it. So I was open to taking this, and I did take it, but there was obviously a lot more mental equity that had to be taken from me in order to actually stay in this trade, and operate my emotions throughout the trade. So when I seen it go far against me with the close up here, it made me very stressed. I wasn't fully paying attention. My attention was on the Google meeting too, and I just decided to do what's professional and just cut the trade. Like I wasn't, I'm still proud of how I handled it. I'm not looking back at this and being like, fuck, I should have won. But it is what it is. Now that would have been 4.31 RR, so that would have been a 4.31 times 300 plus 300 I lost, so $1,600 in total. I missed out on $3,600 just by mistakes this month, and I made a mistake here too. And this I actually have the tweets up, but it wasn't a mistake. This is actually what I want to talk about. But I'll get to that. I'm here now actually. So, like I said, there's a lot of trades this week that I missed. One of the losing trades on the Wednesday, 2 losing trades this entire week. I did not take this trade, I believe, on the 27th, right? No, I did. No, but I did, but I broke even my stop. So there was a lot of times where I was able to, and I think I broke even my stop here too on the 9th. Yeah, that should have been a loss. So there's a lot of times where, I could have. This one too, I had a feeling it wouldn't work, so I risked a little less. I tried to risk between 400 and 500, 300 recently that I've been in drawdown. But it depends how I feel about the trade. The highest I'll risk though is 400, 500. But anyways, I was trying to risk between 200, 300. I didn't want to risk too much. But this is me being discretionary based on how I think the trade is going to play out. If it's higher probability, if I think it's really going to win, everything's lining up perfectly, going into the day, it's really easy to see where price is going to go, and then the setup presents itself along those lines, then yeah. But there's a lot of most mornings where I get up and I look at the chart and it's like, I didn't really give anything too obvious overnight, and it's kind of like a 50-50 what it's going to do, or I have an idea of what it's going to do, but I know it's probably not going to do it as fast or as well as I want it to. Like it's very choppy or slow, pulls back a lot. There's different characteristics, different ways price can move, and I sometimes am able to manage my mental equity, which allows me to also manage capital. Like you see here, a lot of these trades at loss would have been break even, but some of these break even trades could have won. I believe here actually there were 1 or 2 break even trades. No, not this one. I remember this one though. There's many times I wanted to move my stop down and cut the trade short, but I didn't, and that was a whole thing. But being discretionary and putting my stops break even won't always save me. It won't always make me more money. But what it will do is help with my mental capital, just kind of manage my emotions and staying sane. I suppose being able to follow rules. But recently it's actually not helped me. So over here, I want to go and pull up my Twitter actually. I took a loss, and the loss was a mistake. But the win that I missed out on, I took this trade on paper, and you can see here there was 2 trades. I didn't take the long, but I took the short. I did take the long on paper, so you can see how I actually saw it before it formed. I was in it live. I could have taken it with real money, but I didn't take it with real money, and that would have been another $1,600 I could have made. So in total, with the $3,600 plus $1,600, that's $5,200 I missed out on. Now, again, the reality is I didn't make that money. So, I'm not sitting here saying I could have done that. I wish if only I did this, if only I did that. All I can do is look forward and correct mistakes. And this is just motivating because it can show the potential that I could have made. And it just helps me, see like, oh, all it takes is 2 weeks and I'm like, in a complete different place than I was 2 weeks ago. With how fast I can make money here. But, back to this. Here's where I think April 2nd. So I started off the day with I want lower prices today, but first I'd wait for a better run higher inside the regular trading hours gap. So I was expecting a run higher. And this trade, I did not expect it to give 4RR by the time it reached the short-term high. But what I did say is if we run far past the 355 high, I lose interest. I want price to fail to make a new high or have trouble to do so for the overall structure. And what it actually did is it moved far past that high. So if I go over here, I have my tweets up. This is the high I was looking at, the 355 high 2. And I don't think I waited for enough displacement. You see how we run far past this high, and then the 355 high, I'm watching that. We have a down close candle, and this is where I entered, so I was expecting it to very quickly reject it. I should have maybe waited for that confirmation because, one, we were hella oversold throughout the day. Very, very oversold. So longs made all the sense. It made so much sense to go long, and the sweep looked so nice. This is probably the highest quality sweep we've had all month. It wasn't in line with my bias. I wanted to see something else, and honestly the reason why I wanted to see that is because of what Trump said the night before. So you can see how it priced at around 9 p.m. when Trump made his little announcement. It went down, and what he said was we're going to take Iran back to the Stone Ages. We're giving them enough time. Basically, he's just saying that they're going to go after the energy infrastructure now, and it's going to be really hard for them to recover from this. That set off alarms in my head, and yeah, price had the right reaction, went down. The next day, it just went right back up. So, it didn't really make sense to me. At the same time, oil climbed and closed higher at, $112 a barrel right now. Same with silver. It didn't fully recover from its losses. So why did the Nasdaq fully recover? Obviously, Nasdaq is its own beast. I don't know. It's also earnings. So, not my job to figure all that stuff out. But I did assume that price would probably consolidate or continue going lower. That was basically because of news, and it made me be scared of having any long biases. Had Trump not said anything going to this morning, maybe I probably would have been like, yeah, I think I like longs. So I know I've been focusing a lot on the news, the war with Iran, and I've been going over economic indicators, and I like doing those things. I'll continue to do those things, but not if they kind of interrupt my trading. I've never ever used news and looked at the result news has and been like, okay, this is how the news came out, so I think the market's gonna do this. I don't trade like that. I know some people could trade like that, but I don't know. I've never been comfortable trading like that, and this is just more evidence to prove that I shouldn't look at the news and associate what's happening in the news with what markets are gonna do. It's easy to look at the economic indicators and separate it from my trading because my trading is very short term. But when there's events like what Trump says, that can change things. But looking at the economic indicators just for the next week that's coming, the MOVE index declined sharply. And this is actually good if we're thinking things are de-escalating and going back to normal. Honestly, I still wouldn't X out the fact that we could be de-escalating slowly from here. I think we could still be escalating. The conflict could still be escalating. But I honestly really don't know because I feel like Venezuela, they could ramp up their production. I don't know how fast that could happen, and I don't know how bad the situation in the Middle East is going to get. But the markets are showing that they believe that at least right now it's contained. It's still escalated, but it's being contained. And oil isn't going to be much higher for longer. Or at least it's not going to continue increasing at a rapid rate. Now, is that what price did? No. So we're, going into the close, it ramped up very fast. So I don't know. The markets are saying that it's like different markets are saying different things right now. We have a lot of, and we've been seeing a lot of that, a lot of just different opinions, I guess, and what's happening. Credit spreads also decreased a lot. So this is like another thing. Still, credit spreads are not showing a full panic. Um, and I don't think the United States is stupid. I think they'll do everything in their power to keep it contained. I don't think they would have started this war unless they didn't think that they could contain it. So I still have hope. I still have hope that this isn't that bad and it's not going to turn this bad. And that, maybe this is going to turn into another one of those Russia Ukraine or Gaza Palestine type of scenarios, uh, where we have or the tariffs, where we have people panic short term and then they kind of just, people forget about it and it gets contained, and then it could go on for a very long time, like Russia Ukraine's still going on. What's happening in Gaza is still seeing the negative effects, but now it's not so pressing to the point where it could break something in the markets. The markets aren't worried about it. The only thing is, I have trouble seeing how what happened in Russia Ukraine was worse than what's currently happening right now. Like the drawdown that we had, Russia Ukraine, it got a lot worse back in 2022. It got a lot worse before it got better. So, and it stretched on for quite a while. So, could we stretch out for quite a while? Yeah, like I think it's with this oil uncertainty. I don't know. If it stays around this range of like $100, if it keeps running back down to, if it had stayed in this range, basically, I think it would have been manageable. But now that we're above it, I don't know. I have a hard time seeing this being manageable and contained. I just wouldn't rule it out. Again, whatever happens in the markets, not my concern. Whatever happens in the world, not my concern. Based on, if I was investing, that's different. But based on my short-term price action model, like, it doesn't matter. So yeah, we have CPI on Friday, and then Monday has high impact news. But it is a holiday today, Easter. So I don't know how Monday is gonna look like. I'll be very careful. And then meeting minutes might cause some volatility. I'd also implore everybody to look at the earnings. I'd have to look more, but I know there's gonna be a lot of important earnings soon. Unemployment rate ticked down a little bit. This is really good news. Markets, I guess this is why probably the Nasdaq bounced a lot more. But news can always have some influence. I'm just not saying that it should be a main driver for my model. Anyways, that's really it. So thank you everybody for watching, and I'll be back next week.